To talk about what Kojima could have possibly wanted revenge about, I would have to go on a huge rant, and a lot of people are not going to be able to follow because you basically need to have an understanding of what happened in the series development since MGS 2. But you're more than welcome to do your own research, please do. Watch the making ofs, read the articles, the interviews, and go see what Kojima has to say about all of the words behind each game's meaning. Namely, what's seen in MGS4, meme in MGS2, seen in MGS3 a little bit as well, and revenge in MGS5. Once you get those things under your belt, you'll understand that Kojima had plenty of reason to exact some sort of revenge because there was a huge backlash and shift in development due to it in the series after MGS2. But the genius way of doing it, I guess, is that, Kojima still manages to make super action hero, epic movie style character, whatever, epic action hero, good graphics, 10 out of 10 IGN, good gameplay, whatever, production value, big actors game, which is what ultimately sells, what gets you a 10 out of 10 on IGN, and automatically gets any big name series praised, regardless of how much shit it actually is. So Kojima does that, of course. You get the pretty graphics, you get Kiefer, you get the high production value, you get all the hype built up around it. So that's to satisfy the masses. 10 out of 10 IGN. I just call this whole concept 10 out of 10 IGN because ultimately that's what it results into. But like in every Metal Gear game, it's actually kind of interesting. There still is that subtext of how does Kojima feel? What happened about with the series development? And how did this influence his feelings and his thoughts and his ideas and his, again, development of the next game? And that's been a thing since MGS2. Because up until MGS2, let's see, MGS 1 and 2, they had these sort of mentor, positive, and life advice sort of nature messages behind them. MGS 1 being about, not letting your genetic destiny, not being bound to your genetic destiny, and MGS 2 being about what's not in your genes that you choose to pass on by yourself, and then huge other topic there, but you get the idea. MGS 1 and MGS 2 are about the passing on of something, or not letting it hold you back, and choosing for yourself what to pass on. That's MGS 1 and 2. Positive life advice, sort of Kojima wanting to put something positive out there, well, we get the idea what I'm trying to say. I'm just wanting to positive life changing advice. Kojima kind of wanting to be a mentor for the people who play his games and wanting to pass on these happy ideas. So that's MGS 1 and 2. And then, what happened? I think Raiden might be gay, guys. So what happened is that now Raiden is gay and nobody likes him. And suddenly, huge backlash after MGS 2. Now the themes in the series have shifted considerably. After MGS 2, Kojima didn't want to be the one to make MGS 3. He wanted MGS 3 to be a thing. He wanted to pass on the series, but he failed miserably at that. He had to be called back. The fans didn't get his message. The development team didn't get his message, and his style of game making or whatever they were trying to do was a mess, obviously, because they brought Kojima back. So now, all of a sudden, instead of positive life advice to put out there that we had in MGS 1 and 2, now there's been a huge fucking shift in what MGS 3 and 4 and, well, this thing as well are about. Huge shift. Suddenly, MGS 3 is about seeing, how the environment and the political how the political environment around you, you might be put in a situation where you do something that you normally wouldn't be doing. That was not your first choice. Let's see. The boss defecting, Snake having to kill her, and Kojima having to come back to the series. They're all, or Sokolov being forced to make rockets or missiles against his will. And everything is suddenly about sacrifice, misinterpretation of one's will, and sadness. Like, Kojima creates this whole character whose entire role is basically to be abused, to be misunderstood, to be trying to fight for something that doesn't get passed on correctly. Nobody understands the boss's will, and that's what sparks the whole fucking thing in MGS4 and MGS5 with Cypher, whatever. So suddenly, Kojima has put, he always does this, his feelings and his thoughts and his experiences into his game, starting with MGS3, though it's hugely influenced by the backlash after MGS2. And the irony of it is that people have the most absolute reverence and respect for the boss, and her, the boss's will is such a big deal in the series, and yet nobody stopped for a second to think about Kojima's will. Nobody has the same sort of respect, reverence for wanting to follow what Kojima's original will was. Which is insane, because they're essentially Kojima writing himself into MGS3 through the boss being, this perfect human being who is, oh no, now she has to do this sacrifice. So that's the initial negative connotation of MGS3. Suddenly it's not about life-changing advice, it's not about happy life lessons that Kojima wants to pass on to you. Now it's about sacrifice and being misunderstood, and having people do things that they normally wouldn't in circumstances that are unfortunate, be it political or company, whatever. And that's what MGS3 is about: betrayal, sacrifice, being put in a situation that you normally wouldn't be doing things. And don't even get me started about MGS4. Because MGS4 takes that to the next level, telling you, the theme of MGS4, the word associated with MGS4 is sense. Kojima realizing, and this is his own words, like I said, go look at all the material out there. Kojima realizing that perhaps he just could not pass on what he wanted to pass on. Maybe when you try to pass something on, the sense of it is lost. So then you go on about Kojima's midlife crisis, suicidal thoughts, death threats, comparing Konami's development environment to a battlefield, old Snake being 42 years old, Kojima being 42 years old, Kojima heavily putting himself into this depressed old Snake figure that's slowly rotting away and dying. In fact, he wanted to kill him, but he didn't even let him. And you get all that good stuff. Certainly positive, right? Nope. And then you get the bullshit with Zero and misinterpreting the boss's will. So it's, again, failure to pass on one's will and sacrifice and a huge fucking war and destruction that comes from all of that. So we have those themes in MGS3 with sacrifice and overall bad things happening to people, and MGS4 takes it to the next level. Still themes of misunderstanding and sacrifice and pain in some way. And I will quickly skip over Peace Walker, because Peace Walker actually has positive things again. Something happened, because between, obviously after 4, Kojima, and during 4 especially, Kojima didn't want to make the game or any more games. But then something happened, something snapped. Monster Hunter is cool in Japan. Portable gaming, Kojima's son was excited about it. Whatever. Peace Walker, the themes of peace, and also Portable Love's existence that make Kojima a little salty. All of those things coming together to suddenly Kojima wants to make a Metal Gear game again. And guess what? It's something positive. Again, it's about peace. So you can see why MGS 1, 2, and Peace Walker are my top 3 that I prefer, and everything else is fucking negative. But then something happened again, and Kojima got maybe a little bit carried away. And now I'm explaining all of these things to you because I want to get to this pile of steaming chocolate melted cheese of a game. Because the themes of MGS 3, 4, and now 5, they all apply to Kojima. So if scene and sacrifice and sense and misunderstanding, all those themes in 3 and 4 apply to Kojima closely, personally, what's the word for MGS 5 now? Revenge. So it wouldn't be out of this world that is to assume that this too applies to Kojima. Kojima's revenge. But it's done in such a way that isn't so, middle finger up your ass. It's a middle finger in the background of a pretty graphics, pretty production value, big actors, big names, big hype. Some people would say gameplay, whatever. Mask of 10 out of 10 IGN. But in the background, the theme of revenge, like the ending to this game, feels like it's the exact opposite of MGS 2's ending. MGS 2 is be your own man, find something to pass on and start anew, pick your own name and your own legacy. MGS 5 is, nope, I guess you're big boss now. Here, you want to be big boss? You've been wanting to be big boss ever since people were bitching about MGS 2, Raiden ending, whatever. Raiden is gay, the ending is open. Here, you want to be big boss? Guess what? Now you're big boss. But I'm getting the fuck out of here. Which is essentially the message of this game. Big Medic is a stand-in for the player to become big boss, quite literally. And the real big boss, or Kojima, is like, yeah, man, you're big boss now. You wanna be badass? You wanna be big boss? Okay, but I'm getting the fuck out of here. Which is exactly what Big Boss and Kojima did with this game. So the original question, what could Kojima possibly want revenge about? The backlash after MGS 2. It influenced every single game after this. It influenced Kojima's, or after 2, Kojima's feelings, Kojima's expectations of what his audience would be, the understanding of what he could or could not pass on properly, and even his working conditions. Like, imagine realizing during MGS 3, or most certainly at the very least by 4, it had happened, that your team doesn't fucking understand what you're trying to do with your games and what you're trying to pass on, and you had to be called back to fix their shit. Imagine working with that under the umbrella of Konami constantly breathing down your neck at the same time, and who knows how close the two things are. So complete fucking madness working in those conditions. And yes, the people that say, no, MGS 3 was good, come out. Yes, of course, there's subtext of MGS 3 that you missed, though. MGS 3 is not a bad game. It's just about negative things with that subtext, with being heavily influenced by the backlash of MGS 2, and being a dumbed down story with a clone protagonist. Copy and paste Solid Snake as a playable character. MGS 4 has a call that addresses this, actually. The war hero reinvented as a criminal. Yeah, MGS 3 does that too. You get given Big Boss as a playable character because people wanted to be badasses and you wanted a much simpler story while keeping that subtext of let's laugh at MGS2, but also let's laugh at the people who were laughing at MGS2. But that's a whole different topic for MGS3 and all the subtext in MGS3 that I always talk about when I play it. But ultimately, we're getting here to revenge. The theme of revenge veiled under 10 out of 10 IGN. If only Kojima came out and somehow confirmed this. Man, this game, I would look at this game under a completely different light. Because I still don't think that Kojima would have released a game in this state in any way, shape, or form under any circumstances, because the technical aspect of this game is abysmal. Like I said, they teabag the keyboard repeatedly to program this game. And that's an unfortunate consequence of, all the things that came together to make this game a mess. Konami, Kojima, budget, whatever. You know the gist. But if Kojima came out and confirmed that this game is indeed his revenge, you can't do that, because that's burning so many bridges with the fans and the people who, like, approximately maybe 85% of people who only care about being badass action heroes, saving the hostages and rescuing the hostages, saving the world, whatever, in these games, and just treat them as little spy movies. You would be burning bridges with all those fans. You would be burning bridges with 10 out of 10 IGN culture. Kojima can't just go out and say, fuck you, you wanted to be big boss here. No, you still get it under the guise of this perfectly suitable 10 out of 10 product here. But if he confirmed it somehow, for those people who do see the subtext, even the fact that this game is unfinished and a technical fucking nightmare would play into it. It would just be serendipity at that point. I still don't think it's done on purpose, because there's no way that the perfectionist Kojima, who playtests his games for hours, would have released a game in this state willingly. There's no way. But, it would have contributed to the whole theme of, here's a steaming pile of shit that's covered in chocolate. And most people only see the chocolate. So most people don't dig in and see what the actual flavor is. They just look at it and they're like, chocolate, smells good. So yeah, obviously that's never going to happen, and it's a lot more complicated than how I put it in this simple explanation covering all the games and all the themes. But yeah, hopefully you get the idea what I'm trying to say. And it's just my, admittedly, speculation on how the theme of revenge applies to Kojima, simply derived from the fact that every other theme applies to Kojima and his mood and feelings and at the point in history in which the games were developed. And at the same time, I don't want to make it feel like I'm blaming all the people who bitched about MGS2 and all the fans who just want to be action hero movie stars. Because, yes, you might make a case that those people ruined the series, but also there's the fact that Kojima let it influence himself and his game development quite heavily. If you know what to look for, you will see that it's influenced him quite fucking heavily. So, is it the people's fault for bitching, or is it Kojima's fault for basically giving in to the people bitching? Because Kojima could have kept doing his own thing, and make MGS3 about something entirely different, and make MGS4 about something entirely different, which, if left to Kojima, he would not have made MGS4 at all. But, yeah, that's the only sense, really, I can make of this game's ending. And Kojima let the backlash of MGS2 influence himself and every game's development after that. So, I don't know. I'm not one to place the blame. The fans or Kojima letting the fans influence himself, but somewhere in between there, I'm sure there's something.